Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee for this volleyball showdown in the Big North American Division between the visiting Scarlets of Ridgefield Park and the Fort Lee Bridgemen, 1-0 on the season, looking for their first league victory of the year as well. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by our producer, Jordan Sarnoff, and we're so glad that you could join us here for some exciting girls volleyball action on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube page as we get things underway after Fort Lee won their 2021 season opener on the road 2-0 against Teaneck on March 16th. So this is their home opener for the 2021 season as they are trying to pick up where they left off in the 2019 season with a 23-9 record. Obviously, this season was postponed after no fall sports and now moved to the springtime here, so we're going to be treated to a good one as we're going to be moments away from the start of this contest. Ridgefield Park trying to snap a 3-game losing streak in this series against Fort Lee. They were defeated twice in the 2019 fall season, losing both times 2-0. So they're going to be looking for their first win in quite some time, as they have not defeated Fort Lee since October 13th, 2017. So the Bridgemen are trying to continue their winning ways in this series against one of their league rivals in the Ridgefield Park Scarlets. The Scarlets will be in their red tops with black shorts, and in all black is going to be Fort Lee, who's coached by John Ziemba. He has led Fort Lee to their first winning season since 2015 in the 2019 season, when they garnered that 23-9 record overall and made it to the second round of the Group 2 state playoffs. That was their best record since winning 17 matches in 2015. So Fort Lee, a very young squad here this season, but they're going to be hoping to build off that experience that they garnered when they last played in the fall of 2019. And for Ridgefield Park, they're coming off a 4-17 season last time out in 2019, finishing 7th overall in the Big North American Division with a 2-12 record in league play. And like I mentioned, they're looking for their first wins against Fort Lee since October of 2017. Fort Lee defeated Teaneck in their opener 25-23 and 25-15. in 2 games to win the overall match. And talking with Coach Ziemba before this game, saying how he's got a very, very young team that he's going to be trying to gain some experience here with some of his veterans who lead the way, including Yishi Huang, number 14, who he calls the best setter in the league. So the service will begin for Ridgefield Park. The first service with Gianna Terrarosa. So Terrarosa was the first one to serve, and it looks like it might have been a violation against her. So the point goes to Fort Lee. Fort Lee will take a 1-0 lead here in the first game of the afternoon. Glad that you could join us on YouTube Live. Dug out and sent right back over. Pushing that one over was Kylie Chan, number 10, was in the middle. Got a piece of it, but deflected off the hands of Murtaugh last. So it's going to be the first point of this opening game for Ridgefield Park. We're tied at 1 point apiece. Both teams volleying a little bit in that last stretch. Here's the second service of the game. Into the nets, another point given to Fort Lee after a violation on the opening serve as well for Ridgefield Park. So a couple of unforced errors on the service. Now it's going to be Casey Ryu, number 16, the junior, doing the serving for Fort Lee. and snuck it just over and could not be returned. Nice move there. As that was the work by Sydney Stedman, number 6. The senior who's about to serve for Ridgefield Park, the libero. Getting that kill on the return. Tried a little bit of a drop shot. And it's going to be into the nets. Net violation and a point awarded to Ridgefield Park. And now the Scarlets with their first lead of the afternoon. They take a 3-2 advantage, scoring 2 consecutive points. So Stedman now with her second serve. Dug out by the back line. Drop shot up front. Dug away. Wang with the set. Had a nice one there on the back. But they're going to say that it went a little too long. Wang was trying to say, did Ridgefield Park get a piece of it? That's what Coach Ziemba is trying to say, that there was a touch. As the official conferring with the back line. So they're saying out of bounds is the call. So a third consecutive point. So after that deliberation, Fort Lee was trying to say that it might have been touched before it then went out of bounds long. But they said no touch whatsoever. 4-2 lead for Ridgefield Park. Trying to go diagonally. Nice dig in the back line there. Good volley between the two sides, and Ridgefield Park could not get it over. So now that 3-0 run for the Scarlets is stopped by the Bridgemen. Fort Lee trailing 4-3, but gaining the service. And this opportunity here as Lily Schulman, number 11, the senior, will be in charge of the Fort Lee service right now. We're watching the first set of this Big North American Division Volleyball Showdown. 4-3 lead right now for Ridgefield Park. Pagan took a little something off that on her hit right in front of the nets. Wine getting it over to Pagan again, who sends it over the net. Again, good volley between both sides. Nice defensive work in the back line by Ryu of Fort Lee. Neither team giving an inch here. Looking for the score. Pagan hitting it, deflected off the top of the net. Might have got touched in the front line as well by Ridgefield Park, but another point secured by Fort Lee after a long volley between both teams. We're tied at 4-4. Schulman with the service again. Dug out this time by Stedman. Hit into the nets, and now Fort Lee has gone on a 3-0 run of themselves. After they had trailed at one point, 4-2. They've now taken a 5-4 advantage here in the opening set. The first to 25 to win the set. Pagan just mistimed or jumped a little bit as she was fading away and could not get all of that hit. As it deflects into the nets and a point going to Ridgefield Park. 5-5 the score. Here's Pagan getting it over. Pagan using that height to tower over the front line of Ridgefield Park and knocked into the vacated spots, and another point and another kill for Pagan. Another point for Fort Lee, who've taken a 6-5 lead now. That service a little too long there for Ayla Kim. Number 18 was senior for Fort Lee. There'll be a service error and point awarded to the Scarlets of Ridgefield Park. 6-6 the score. And Ridgefield Park generously gives the point right back on the service. So it's going to be once again Fort Lee with a 7-6 advantage now here in the first set. And Katie Murtaugh, number 23, to do the service. Just dug away in the front line by Jennifer Gutara. Nice save there by Gutara, but eventually it ends up as too long to the far side and out of bounds, as it looked like it might have been a service ace coming up for Fort Lee. Gutara dug it out, but Ridgefield Park could not save it in bounds. 8-6 lead now for Fort Lee. Again, nice play there, the diving exploits of Gutara. Pagan dug out in the back line there. Good hustle in the last couple plays. That was Santina Protazio, number 30 in red for Ridgefield Park. Fort Lee gets it over, and nice accuracy there. As Ayla Kim was just trying to get it over, used the forearms and curled it just inside that far sideline for the point. Largest lead of this opening set for Fort Lee at 9-6. Getting it over was Gutara again. Wang setting it up. Ryu not able to finish it off with a kill. And it goes out of bounds too long for Ridgefield Park. And Fort Lee on a sustained run here has pushed the Bridgman lead to 4, 10-6. Drop shot just on the line, and that is awarded to Ridgefield Park to stop the damage and stop the bleeding, as the timeout's going to be taken by Fort Lee. 10-7 lead for the Bridgmen here in the opening set of this matchup, the opening league match of the year between Fort Lee and Ridgefield Park here on the Fort Lee Athletics page on YouTube. So we've already seen both teams being evenly matched in the front lines. And volleying back and forth, and eventually Ridgefield Park went on an early 3-0 run of their own, but Fort Lee answered and have led by as many as 4 in this opening set of play. Again, Fort Lee opened up the 2021 season with a victory on the road at Teaneck, winning in straight sets, 25-23 and 25-15 over the Highwaymen. And getting their first chance at league play here today against Ridgefield Park. So after the timeout taken by Fort Lee, it's going to be service for Ridgefield Park. Desiree DeMarco, number 5, the one serving it up. And she now dug it out the back line for the Scarlets. Gutara has been effective up front right now defensively. She lets it go, and it's going to be a back-to-back point situation now for Ridgefield Park. As Fort Lee missing that one wide to the far side of the floor. 10-8 lead now for Fort Lee. Wang setting up Pagan for the kill. Sophia Pagan, who had 5 kills against Teaneck in the season opener, getting one there to extend the lead to 11-8 now. Into the game, Nicole Nutrwani, number 22, serving it for Fort Lee. Trying to recapture their largest lead of this opening set at 4. But they hit it into the top of the net, so the point going over to Ridgefield Park. 11-9 lead now for Fort Lee. Gianna Terrarosa serving now for Ridgefield Park. And another kill, this time to Casey Ryu, the junior outside hitter. finishing that one off for Coach John Ziemba's side. Back to a 3-point advantage for Fort Lee at 12-9. Fort Lee in the home black. In the road, red and black, Ridgefield Park, and an ace for Fort Lee off that service from Yishi Wang. Wang in the last meeting between these two schools had 24 assists in their win against Ridgefield Park. One of the best players in the county according to Coach Ziemba. Back to a 4-point lead, 13-9 right now. Waiu took a little something off that. And then it's deflected out of bounds wide to the far side. Largest lead of the opening set now, 14-9 for Fort Lee. Back-to-back points here on the service of Yishi Wang. Wang goes over to the near side, dug out. Good diving effort by Isabel Gonzalez of Ridgefield Park. Now, the play of Stedman in the back line, the libero in the different colored jersey for the Scarlets. And that deflects off of Fort Lee last out of bounds to the far side. Service and the point going over to Ridgefield Park, who trail 14-10. Here on the road against their league rival Fort Lee. Dug out by Huang, saving it, and eventually it leads to the point just in the near side, hitting the tape and just staying in. Credit the defensive exploits there of Huang to initially dig it out, and eventually ended up as the kill. 15-10 lead now for Fort Lee. This is the opening set, trying to get to 25 to win the first set of this afternoon's matchup. And another kill awarded to Kylie Chan. The senior has been active in the middle and right at the net for Coach John Ziemba. Fort Lee was dominant at home in their last season in 2019. They were 11-3 here at East Gymnasium. Gonzalez tried the drop shot and then a little miscommunication as Chan just couldn't get it over in time. 16-11 now, the lead for Fort Lee as service goes back to Stedman and Ridgefield Park. Chan setting up her teammate to the near side. That was Amy Diaz, number 28. Wang back to Diaz. Diaz dug out. As Ridgefield Park will just get it over by Terra Rosa. Chan just inside the back line. Another kill for Kylie Chan. 17-11, the lead now grows for Fort Lee on a timeout taken by Ridgefield Park as they want to go over some strategy here, facing a 6-point deficit here in the opening set. You're watching Fort Lee girls volleyball action on YouTube. So Fort Lee in control right now here in the opening set, 17-11. My apologies to Casey Rue, number 16, who's in charge of the back line right now, who's been a force serving as well as on a couple occasions in the front of the net. Both teams set after the timeout by Ridgefield Park. Out of the timeout, it's going to be Lily Shillman doing the serving for Fort Lee. Diaz eventually setting it up. Pagan nearly had another drop shot. Stedman doing a nice job of racing to save that one. Pagan getting a piece. Diaz to Huang. Just gets it over. Popped right back forward by Gutara. That shot a little too long there, as Fort Lee was trying to get in the kill just inside the back line. But it goes a little too long. Point for Ridgefield Park. 17-12 now, the lead for the Bridgemen. Shulman getting the dig from the back line. Pagan, again, a little drop shot with the forearms. Nice save there by Shulman. Both teams volleying here. Another play dug out by Protazio of Ridgefield Park. Good defense from both teams. And just kept in. And a point awarded to Fort Lee on that long volley, and it ends in an important point. The lead grows back to 6, 18-12 now here in the opening set. Ayla Kim, number 18, the senior, serving here for Fort Lee. Stedman gets it over. Trying to go for the kill was Terrarosa. And eventually it ends up as a point for Ridgefield Park. 18-13 the lead now for Fort Lee. Doing the serving this time was Isabella Gonzalez, number 7. And the net was the friend there for Fort Lee. Took a little of the velocity off the ball and eventually found its way in between the back line and the front line for the 19th points for Fort Lee in this opening set. 19-13 lead now for Fort Lee. Trying to capture this opening set in this first league matchup of the 2021 volleyball season. DeMarco got it over for Ridgefield Park. A little miscommunication there as it led to the point here for Fort Lee, as it looked like Terrarosa was aiming to try to pop it up and over, but instead just could not find the balance in time. 20-13 lead for Fort Lee, 5 more points away from capturing the opening set. The Scarlets get it over. Wang over to the far side. And that time, Rue hit it into the top of the net. Into the antenna on the far side, so it's going to be a point awarded to the Scarlets. 20-14, their deficit here in the opening set of action. Trying to go on a run and come from behind here late. What a cheeky move there by Huang, going with the backwards look, the no look, and eventually it ends as the point for the Bridgemen. 21-14 lead now for Fort Lee in the opening set. That was all Yishi Huang. She's known and has garnered, rightly so, a reputation as being one of the best setters. That time took it herself, going backwards with the tap. And that led to an ace there for Fort Lee. Rotazio got gobbled up on that service point. And now it's going to be a quick timeout taken by Ridgefield Park, as Fort Lee with their largest lead at 22-14 here in the first set. Nurchawani had that last service ace for Coach Ziemba. And the Fort Lee Bridgemen, 23-9 overall last season. They finished tied for 3rd place in the Big North American Division with a 9-5 league record. That's something that they used then to garner the number 13 overall seed in the Group 2 state playoffs, where Fort Lee in the opening round defeated number 20 Garfield 2-0 in the opening round, before eventually losing to number 4 seed Sparta in 2 sets in the second round. Demarest would eventually go on to win the Group 2 championship after upsetting top seed Rutherford. So after the timeout, that time that service trying to cut the corners to the near side, but the caroms out of bounds, and that'll be a point for Ridgefield Park. 22-15 lead now for Fort Lee. Tara Rosa set to serve. And Trelawney dug it out initially. Now Ridgefield Park just trying to get it back over. A miss hit gives the point to the Bridgmen. 23-15 lead for Fort Lee. Wang will be doing the serving now. That one hit into the nets. 23-16 lead now for Fort Lee, with the service going back to Ridgefield Park. And Jennifer Gutara, number 21. Hit into one of the vents here in the gym, and that kind of created a carom that Fort Lee could not adjust to. Back-to-back points for Ridgefield Park, and now Coach John Ziemba using another timeout to talk things over with his side. Trying to slow things down here for Ridgefield Park, who's trying to stay within striking distance here in the opening set, but it's a Fort Lee advantage at 23-17 as they're closing in on capturing this opening set of this American Division showdown. Following this road opener for Ridgefield Park, the Scarlets will head home for 4 straight home matches before their next away match on March 31st. As Ridgefield Park is scheduled to play host to Dwight Morrow, Dumont, Mahwah, and Bergenfield in their next 4. But as we saw with the winter season, everything is contingent on all teams remaining COVID-free. As athletic directors have to get very creative and always adjust on the fly, to say the least, when it comes to their scheduling during this unique 2021 sports season. So Gutara now getting the chance here after she set herself, is serving this one over. Wang getting it right over to Chan. Pushed it over. Chan has the height advantage in the front of the net. Wang setting up Chan. Chan gets the kill to the near side. And Fort Lee is at set points at 24-17 here in the opening set. Rue doing the serving here on set point. Hit into the top of the nets, and that'll do it for Fort Lee. Who will capture the opening set by a 25-17 advantage. As the Bridgmen held control there after an early lead for Ridgefield Park, saw the Scarlets race out to about a 3-point advantage on a couple of occasions, but then Fort Lee went on a prolonged run and enjoyed that advantage and eventually finish it off with the 25-17 win in the opening set, as we'll head to set number 2 here at East Gymnasium. Dan Long, happy that you could join us for the first edition of Fort Lee Bridgmen Volleyball here in the 2021 season. All these broadcasts produced by Jordan Sarnoff, who's done an amazing job of bringing you all the sights and sounds of the Fort Lee Athletic Department here in the 2021 season, as well as throughout the fall football season in 2020, as well as soccer. So we're glad that you could stay with us, even if you're not physically in attendance here in East Gym. And we thank you for your constant support of Fort Lee Athletics here and watching these broadcasts on YouTube. as both teams consulting with their respective head coaches and getting ready to get underway for the start of set number 2. And in New Jersey girls volleyball, it's a best-of-3 series, so it's not a best-of-5 set series. So Fort Lee is able to win here in set number 2. They will go to a 2-0 start to the season as they swept the 2 sets in their opener against Teaneck that have already taken the first set here at home against Ridgefield Park. But again, history has been kind to Fort Lee in this rivalry. They have won their last 3 meetings against Ridgefield Park in straight sets in each of those 3 meetings, winning twice in 2019 and then winning once in 2018. The last win for the Scarlets in this rivalry came back on October 13th, 2017. And you have to go back to September of 2017 for the last time that the Scarlets came here on the road to defeat Fort Lee. So Fort Lee trying to make it 4 straight wins against Ridgefield Park and go to 2-0 on the season, and in the process win their first league matchup of the season as well, the Big North American, as we saw during the basketball season, condensed to only 5 teams. Fort Lee, Ridgefield Park, Dwight Morrow, Cliffside Park, and Dumont. So Fort Lee will begin with service to begin this second set. It'll be number 14, Yishi Huang, doing the honors for the Bridgemen. Huang having that one dug out in the back line. Going to the far side and just sneaking it in that far side. Fort Lee trying to play the angle and hoping that it was going to carry him out of bounds in front of Coach Ziemba. We saw it stay inbounds and be an opening point here for Ridgefield Park. The Scarlets with the service. Stedman, great hustle in the back line. Knocked over backwards by Tara Rosa. Wang setting it up, Chan, and Chan with the kill. Kylie Chan, the senior, depositing that one right in the front and getting the first point of this second set for Fort Lee. We're tied at 1-1. If you're just joining us, Fort Lee won the opening set 25-17. Casey Rue had started the service for Fort Lee. Good dig there by Protazio. Scarlets get it over, but out of bounds to the far side. This time Fort Lee does the right thing of staying off it as it was going out of bounds. Back-to-back points for the Bridgemen. They take a 2-1 advantage here in the second set, and once again, Casey Rue with the service. There's an ace for Casey Rue. 3 straight points for Fort Lee. So very similar in the early goings to what transpired in the opening set, as Fort Lee grew their lead throughout that opening set. Stedman with the dig. Wang setting up Chan. Chan a little too strong on that one, as that goes out of bounds too long. 3-2 lead now for Fort Lee. Stedman been doing the service, and that time a miss hit by Diaz into the net. Back-to-back points for Ridgefield Park. We're knotted at 3. Dug out by Kim. Now that leads to an eventual point for Fort Lee as that hits into the ceiling here at East Gymnasium. We saw that one of those caroms bedeviled Fort Lee in the opening set and led to a Ridgefield Park point, and the Scarlets also dealing with that carom, leading to a point now for Fort Lee. Shulman with the service, 4-3 lead now for the Bridgemen. Dug out by Protazio. But trying to hit it with all forearms, and that deflected out of bounds to the near side. That'll be another point for Fort Lee. 5-3 lead now for Fort Lee. You're in the second set, already up 1-0. Dug out in the back line by Gonzalez. Here's Pagan back into the match. And Pagan with another kill. Credit number 21. Sophia Pagan, only a sophomore. (6-3) lead now for Fort Lee. Starting to build a little more momentum and some space here as Pagan this time operates to the near side and gets another kill to her name. Pagan, a familiar face to many here. We'll watch the basketball season for the girls' basketball season here on the Fort Lee Athletics page on YouTube. Several of her teammates here on the volleyball court, also on the hardwood here for basketball. Wang setting up Diaz. Diaz just moving it, but it goes out of bounds to the far side. So the point comes now for Ridgefield Park, 7-4, the advantage for Fort Lee here in the second set. A substitution made for Ridgefield Park as Carlin Dipko, number 2, the junior, coming into the game. Right at the net. There's Diaz. Guitarra with the initial dig. Shulman to Wang. Pagan fading away and dropping it off just inside the front line, the back line, excuse me. Fort Lee is doubled up Ridgefield Park now with an 8-4 lead here in the second set. A very young Fort Lee side trying to find their way to back-to-back wins to begin 2021. Ridgefield Park dropped that in just in front of the back line. And will score the point. 8-5 lead for Fort Lee. And service back to the Scarlets. Dug out by Kim. Pagan sending it back over. Here's Pagan. So effective here in the second set. She's been moving it all around the court. She has had winners in every which direction here for Fort Lee. As the Bridgemen extend their lead now to 9-5. Giddy Murtaugh set to serve here for the Bridgemen. Trying to extend the Fort Lee lead, which has grown to 4. They won the opening set 25-17, trying to put away the match with a win here in the second set. Rue gets it over for Fort Lee. Dipko hit that one into the net. 10-5 advantage now for Fort Lee, their largest of this second set. Working it around, Pagan just getting it over. Stedman now digging it out of the back line. There's Pagan again. Gonzalez, opposite court winner to the near side. Isabella Gonzalez doing a good job there and a much-needed point for Ridgefield Park, who have cut into the Fort Lee lead now at 10-6. Miss it on that service by DeMarco will lead to the point for Fort Lee. Service going back to the Bridgemen, who lead 11-6 now here in the second set. Nicole Nutrawani, the junior, back in to serve things up here for Fort Lee, as Pagan will come out. Nice save there by Murtaugh on the back line. They're going to say a double hit, though, against Fort Lee, as it will be a point awarded to Ridgefield Park, and it looks like a timeout taken by Coach Ziemba, with his team leading 11-7 here in the second set. As both teams will talk things over, as right in front of us, Yishi Huang looking to get an explanation from the official and bring that back to Coach Ziemba of what happened there after he called for the double hit before Fort Lee could return that one back across the net. After this one, Fort Lee will travel on March 20th to Dumont, and then with a new addition to the schedule, we'll be back here with yours truly, Dan Long, calling all the action from East Gymnasium on the 23rd, as Fort Lee will be playing host to New Milford. As once again, you can catch all the action during this volleyball season on the Fort Lee Athletics page here on YouTube. And once again, we thank everybody for tuning in, no matter what school you're supporting. We're happy that you're supporting these great student athletes from both institutions, as the fall volleyball season being played here in what is being dubbed season number 3 right now, as we're having 4 different seasons of athletics in New Jersey this year. An ace on the serve for Ridgefield Park, and back-to-back points now for the Scarlets. After Gianna Terrarosa had some eyes on that serve, it found an empty spot vacated between the front and the back lines. Little touch shot there by Gonzalez, trying to get the win. Gonzalez trying to set up her teammate, just getting it over in time was Duran. And eventually it ends as a point for Fort Lee. Good net front presence by Fort Lee here today. They've been winning that matchup. Has garnered them the advantage here in the second set, 12-8, as Huang doing the serving. And that gets stuck into the basketball hoop above the playing surface. A weird carom, to say the least. So right now the volleyball is lodged into the backboard, in between the backboard and the hoop, as the hoops are raised up here in the course of play, as we play on with a fresh new volleyball. That time Chan just trying to push it over. Stedman getting it over. Rue. And it looks like with a whistle, the point will go over to Fort Lee, as it might have been a case of interfering with the net. One of the players in the front line for Ridgefield Park touching the net. Back to a 4-point advantage for Fort Lee. 13-8 here in the second set. Trying to win the second set and bring home their second victory of 2021. Stedman and Ridgefield Park looking for a rally here. And again, it's going to be too many hits for Ridgefield Park, and another point secured by Fort Lee as their lead grows to 14-8 here in the second set. Bridgman, just like they did in the opening set, going on a bit of a run here in the middle of this set. That time just got caught up at the net was Kylie Chan. That leads to the point for Ridgefield Park. Scarlets with the serve, trailing 14-9. Just didn't have enough air underneath that one. As that time, number 16, Casey Rue, was trying to get it up and over. Back-to-back points for Ridgefield Park. They trail by 4 now, 14-10. Chan nearly had another kill. Setting up Chan was Huang. And again, the points given on the violation against Ridgefield Park. The point given to Fort Lee. 15-10 lead now for the Bridgemen. Rue serving for Fort Lee. Getting over was Protasio. Nice job there. Little touch on the ball there by Santina Protasio, the junior, number 30 for Ridgefield Park. Dropped it just in front of Casey Rue, who's doing the serving for Fort Lee. Stedman back to serve now for Ridgefield Park. There's Protasio again, and once again it'll end up as a point for Ridgefield Park. As Fort Lee was trying to return that one diagonally from the far side to the near side, but went a little too strong and a little too long. 15-12 now the lead for Fort Lee here in the second set. They won the opening set 25-17. Gutara tried her darndest to save that one, but it deflected off her hands in a weird angle back towards the far wall. And that'll end up as a point for the Bridgemen, ending that brief run there for Ridgefield Park. As subs are made, and once again, Pagan will come back into the fold for Coach John Ziemba. 16-12 lead for Fort Lee. And that time, sneaking it just inside the back line for another ace. It's Lily Schulman, number 11. The senior has pushed the lead now back to 5 for Fort Lee. It's 17-12. Schulman spreading the wealth now over to the far side. And it ends up as another point for Fort Lee. As a miscue and a misplay at the front of the nets. 18-12 lead now for Fort Lee. And a timeout taken by Ridgefield Park as they want to talk things over. They're in danger zone territory here, trailing 18-12. They already dropped the opening set by a score of 25-17, and Fort Lee now only 7 points away from securing the match victory and winning 2-0 here this afternoon against Ridgefield Park. Against Fort Lee is going to be back in action on March 20th. Over the weekend, they're going to be traveling to Dumont, take on the Huskies on Saturday. Then they will come back home here to East Gymnasium and will play host to New Milford in a match that you could see here on YouTube. That match again is going to be scheduled for the 23rd. So set your calendars, fans, and join us here once again for Fort Lee Bridgemen volleyball action. It's going to be Fort Lee playing host to New Milford. So after the timeout, once again, it's going to be the service for Lily Schulman. And another point on the miss hits up front by Gutara. Points piling up here late in the second set for Fort Lee. 19-12 now the advantage for the Bridgemen. A little bit of miss hit there as it's driven into the net. Point for Ridgefield Park. 19-13 the lead now for Fort Lee. More subs made for Ridgefield Park as the Scarlets welcome back in Carlin Dipko. Pagan dug out by Stedman on the back line. but hit into the net, and now Fort Lee 5 points away from securing victory. Leading 20-13 now this afternoon. Ayla Kim, the senior, serving for Fort Lee. Right into the hands of Stedman. Gonzalez setting up Dipko, gets it up and over. Wang. Gets called for the double hit, and it's going to be a point awarded to Ridgefield Park. We trail now 20-14. Again, following this one, Ridgefield Park will head home and will host 4 consecutive matches at home on the schedule, including against Dwight Morrow, Dumont, Mawa, and Bergenfield, before their next scheduled road match on the 31st against Teaneck. Good volleying going back and forth. Here's Pagan. Dug out by Stedman. Dipko. Dug out by Rue. Diaz gets it over. Gonzalez. Now Diaz. Wang setting up Diaz. Into the nets, but eventually the point awarded to Fort Lee. We haven't really seen that many opportunities for a spike finish here today from either side, but a long play there eventually ends in the points for the Bridgemen. 21-14 lead now for Fort Lee. Stedman. Pagan just mistimed her jump just by an inch. And that leads to a point for Ridgefield Park. The Scarlets, if they're going to make a run, they have to make it now. Trailing 21-15 here in the second set. Already down 1-0. Here's Pagan with the winner to the far side. Sophia Pagan has been a force as a middle hitter. Right at the middle of that net for Coach John Ziemba. Now she'll check out, and her team 3 points away from securing victory here this afternoon, leading 22-15. Dropped in. That time Chan was just trying to push it over. Wang setting it up, and Rue. Nice play there, hitting it off the side of her hand. And getting the point off the assist yet again from Yishi Huang. 23-15 now the lead for Fort Lee. Gonzalez stopped at the net, and we're at match point. 24-15 lead for Fort Lee. One more point will secure the overall match victory. Neutralwani doing the serving. Gonzalez gets it over. Neutralwani with the dig. Wang setting it up. Deflected. Nice dig there for Ridgefield Park. Scarlets, though, mishit it wide to the far side, and that'll do it. 25-15 is your final score in the second set, and Fort Lee victorious here this afternoon. 2-0 as they win 2-0. 25-17 winners in the first set, 25-15 winners in the second set. Ridgefield Park will fall to 0-1 with a defeat here on the season. Fort Lee will move to 2-0 in 2021, and also in the process pick up their first league victory here of the season. So again, fans, join us for our next Fort Lee Bridgemen volleyball contest here at East Gymnasium, when Fort Lee will play host to New Milford on March 23rd. The 4:15 start time, as you can watch all these matches live and also for free on demand here on your YouTube home for Fort Lee Athletics. The next match overall in the season for Fort Lee will be on the weekend. They'll travel to Dumont for their second league showdown of the season and try to go to 3-0 on the year. So for my producer, Jordan Sarnoff, I'm Dan Long saying so long from East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee. Fort Lee victorious in 2 sets against Ridgefield Park. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting these student athletes here on Fort Lee's broadcast home on YouTube.